Hello, this is Zeldasmatic, and in this guide I will be going over the Gen 6 IV breeding. First, there are some important changes to the breeding items. Some of them you may already know. For example, the Everstone is guaranteed to pass Natures, power items are guaranteed to pass IVs, and the Destiny Knot. The Destiny Knot is arguably the most important change to the breeding system in Generation 6. The Destiny Knot causes 5 total IVs to be passed between the parents to the offspring instead of 3. This sounds confusing, but I will cover that more later in this guide. In order to successfully follow this guide, you will need to have beaten the Elite Four, you will need a friend with Dittos in their friend Safari, at least some of the power items, and you will need Destiny Knot and Everstone. Your first goal is to obtain the Pokemon you intend to breed with the nature you desire. If you already have one, you can skip this step. For this guide, I will be using Speed Boost Torchic as my example. I am choosing to use the Speed Boost male instead of the Speed Boost female because I will be breeding with Dittos. Breed your previous selected offspring with the friend Safari Ditto. Have the offspring hold an Everstone and the Ditto hold a power item corresponding with one of its perfect stats. Because of the changes to power items, you are guaranteed to hatch an offspring with that perfect stat. Breed the same Ditto with your selected offspring, making sure to switch the Everstone. Now, have the Ditto hold the power item that corresponds with its other flawless stat. Ditto is guaranteed to pass on its perfect HP stat, but Torchic is not guaranteed to pass on its perfect speed stat. Hatch eggs until you find one that has both perfect IVs from both parents. This is relatively common. Now that you have a Torchic with 2 perfect IVs, switch the Ditto with a different one. Make sure none of the perfect stats overlap. This time we're going to be passing on Ditto's hypothetical attack stat. It is very unlikely that both HP and speed from Torchic will be passed on to an offspring, but it isn't impossible. It can take up to 20 eggs, so be patient. Here's a recap of what we have accomplished so far. Each new Torchic is an offspring of the previous generation. So you might be wondering what to do next, Destiny Knot or Power Item? I found that using the Destiny Knot at this point was moderately successful, but you can continue the previous steps one more level and then switch to the Destiny Knot. Here I will fully explain how it works. Regardless of what you decide to do, you will still be looking for a male offspring with 4 perfect IVs or a female offspring with 3 or more perfect IVs. The female would replace the Ditto. At this point, you'll be switching Dittos again, this time without any overlapping perfect IVs. Then, have your Ditto hold Destiny Knot. The way Destiny Knot works is that it takes the IVs from both parents for each stat and causes 5 total IVs to be passed on. Whether these IVs are perfect or not is up to chance, but with every Pokemon you hatch with more perfect IVs, the more likely you are to achieve your goal. Here, in black and blue, I showed only some of the possible outcomes for the offspring of my 2 hypothetical parents. You can see that it's possible to inherit 4 perfect IVs or no perfect IVs. I'd pause here if you want to look at it more closely, but I have a regularly colored frame coming up next. Just for the sake of this guide, I included mostly good offspring outcomes. I want to express to you all how many different beneficial outcomes can occur. If I hatched both of these offspring, they would both work equally well, but for this example's sake, I'm going to choose the female and switch it with the Ditto. So now you would have close to the ideal setup, parents that could potentially pass on 5 perfect IVs to an offspring. Admittedly, having 2 parents with 4 perfect IVs would be better, but it's still possible with these parents to obtain a Pokemon with 5 perfect IVs. Most Pokemon don't efficiently use both attack and special attack, so for this example I'm going to only be going for 5 perfect IVs, avoiding the special attack IV. It's still possible to breed Pokemon to have all 6 perfect IVs, but it would mean relying on luck alone to generate the last stat as perfect. This method of breeding definitely takes patience, especially if you're planning on breeding for hidden abilities. Near the end of the process, it can take more than 20 eggs to find a desirable offspring, and even then, I'm being generous. Don't give up. Also, some of you may be confused with my use of hidden abilities in this video. It personally confirmed that males do indeed pass on hidden abilities, but it seems to only work when breeding with a ditto. That's why I chose males over females while I was still using Friend Safari dittos. Once I find a female with a hidden ability with a good spread of IVs, I can switch out ditto for her. I guess it goes without saying that for this to be the most effective, you will need to have access to the IV judge. If you don't know where he is, he's in the Pokémon Center in Cloud City on the left. If you need help decoding his messages, if he says its greatest potential lies in, then followed by stats, and it can't be beat, those stats are perfect. As usual, thanks for watching. This is the first video like this that I've ever done, but I hope that you found it useful, and I didn't know where to put Destiny Knot and Everstone because Torchic doesn't have any arms, so I just put it on its head. You can follow me on Twitter at ZeldasMedic.